Hello and welcome to the program. Two Ukrainian illustrators are due to attend the prestigious exhibition called Bologna's Children's Book Fair, which will take place this spring in Italy. With over 50 years of experience, the fair has succeeded in bringing together a unique and diverse global audience. So what Ukrainian illustrators have to offer to the European reading community? Now, to discuss this, we welcome to the studio Anna Sarvira. She's an illustrator. Hello and thank you for joining us. So, my understanding is that it is not your first time in this Bologna Children's Book Fair. Your work were already shown there in 2017, and you were in the top 75 world illustrators. How important was it for you to be at this fair?
Well, it was very important because I tried to get there for it took me 10 years. I was sending my illustrations and nobody cared about that. And when I realized that I'm finally there, I was kind of dancing and I was very happy. And it was a big success because not so many Ukrainian illustrators were exhibited in this exhibition. For the last 20 years, there were, I think, 3 or 2. So it was a big success for me and for all Ukrainian illustration, I think.
So what do you expect from this fair this year?
Okay, first of all, I hope to find new publishers because it's very interesting. It's a very big exhibition and a publisher from South America, from Asia participate there. So it's a big chance for me to find new publishers. And I would like also to meet new illustrators because I'm also working as a curator in Ukraine. I organize international exhibitions in Ukraine, and it would be a good chance to find my colleagues and to say hi.
So what about the public? Do you have this contact with the public in this fair, and do you meet people who are fans of your work?
Usually I'm going around with my works. I'm showing them to publisher and saying, hi, do you want to see my illustrations? And sometimes they say yes, and I'm showing them these illustrations. And all illustrators are usually hanging out together because we are a little bit scared of all this huge exhibition. So it's easy to get to know each other. So
would you say the Ukrainian community of illustrators is a big community or is a small community? Is it expanding? What's the...
There are not so many illustrators in Ukraine for now, as I think. I think that in, for example, countries like Poland or Russia, there are much more illustrators, and maybe our Ukrainian illustrators are not so active, so they usually don't participate in these international exhibitions, and I would like also to change that. So
now, what project will you present at this fair, at this exhibition?
Oh, this year it's a very funny Japanese story. Okay, it's not very funny because everybody died in there.
Okay, that's the way to put it.
Yeah, but it's about the cat who lived 1 million times, and it's about the death and about the love. Japanese people like this kind of stories, and I thought about illustrating this story already for about 5 years, and finally I could find time to do that.
So do you have big influence from Japanese style, or how big is this influence for you?
Yes, I'm a very big fan of Japanese illustration and South Korean illustration because they are very free. They don't think, they just draw, and sometimes it looks very crazy, but you can understand that it's also very, very cool. And I can't imagine those books published in Ukraine because I think our publishers are still not ready to publish that.
Why would you say that?
Because right now our Ukrainian publishers are mostly publishing something more like realistic. They're more into traditional illustration, but it's changing a little bit. So I hope that in 10 years we will see a totally different picture in our publishing business.
So allow me this question from a debutant here. What's the exact difference between an illustrator and a comic designer or a comic drawer? How would you define this?
I wouldn't say that there is a big difference because illustrator can be a comic graphic, but usually comic graphics work with text and with stories, more like precise. Illustrator can do sometimes whatever they want, so they don't have to draw everything that is shown in the text. So we are more free. More
freedom here. And so, in this freedom, how would you define your style? How would you and which technique do you prefer using?
Right now, I'm only working with Photoshop because I'm a little bit lazy. Maybe.
Okay, it happens.
Yeah, but I'm still searching my style, and I think it's good that I'm developing it and I'm changing. But right now, I changed it a lot from the Anya who was 5 years ago. I'm totally new illustrator right now. Yes, and I'm developing it. It's a little bit also strange for our Ukrainian publishers, so not all of them are ready to probably publish me, but it's okay, I can understand.
So I guess this the success that you expect from this fair will help you also open doors for Ukrainian publishers and things like that?
Yes, because I can understand that when Ukrainian publishers see that some illustrators got some success abroad, so they are like, oh, okay, maybe it can work even in Ukraine. So, for example, it was with this book, like I can show it.
Of course.
Yeah. It's my illustrations from this book were in this Bologna book fair in 2017, and it was kind of a big success because usually people, when they see this kind of illustrations, they're like, okay, my nephew can draw even better.
Oh, that's the usual art thing, yes.
But after this success, they thought something like, okay, maybe it can be like this. So
that's quite interesting because it happens also in the field of music. Usually, like how Ukraine sees successes of Ukrainian group. I'm thinking Dardotas, for example, outside, and they see like, oh, so actually this is successful. So does it happen also in the art on the drawing situation?
Yeah, and for example, we can talk about our cool illustrator Sagravka, who also got a big success abroad, and then everybody was like, oh, okay, they're cool. Yeah, so it helps you to promote yourself. That's why I'm actually participating in this Bologna book fair, because I realized that when you are judged by cool illustrators and publishers from all over the world, you can say, okay, those guys told that my illustrations are cool, so I can also, you should also think so.
So it's a good stamp. It's a good, basically, promotional level here. Now, can you? What was your, let's say, your journey finding your technique? So, we talked about the Japanese influence. We talked about this kind of thing. But did you? How did you came into your style and your pattern today?
I actually was thinking a lot about that. I was trying different styles when I was studying, and then I think like my key moment was when I was studying in Poland, and they have very cool school of illustration and design in Poland, and I was so surprised and so inspired by this Polish school. So I think also I got a lot of like inspiration from Polish illustrations, and after Poland I actually started drawing something like I draw now.
Now, Ukraine, Poland, do you see some Eastern Europe kind of illustrators going up in the scene of illustration? Do you see that kind of trend going out, or does the world has to wait a little bit more for that?
But Polish illustrators are always cool. So, yeah. But I think it depends from countries and from world and from these illustrators, because in some countries there are some illustrators who are cool, but nobody knows about that. So I don't know. It's a very hard process, and I can't say something like.
Because I'm thinking, the fashion, tend to be interested into Ukrainian fashion now, the fashion world. So maybe there's the same kind of trend. So maybe because it's kind of underground and not well known, people might get interested into that. Yeah,
but actually I realized when we do this international illustration exhibitions 5 years ago, when I was writing to those illustrators from abroad, they were like, Ukraine, heard nothing about that. And now they're like, Ukraine, I know something about Ukraine. So like I heard about your illustrators or publishers, and it makes me feel great because it means that we are working and we are like moving.
And that means that you're part of this process also, and that you helped a little bit.
Yeah, because if 5 years ago there were no illustrators in this Bologna book fair from Ukraine, today 2 of us are there.
Which is already a big step. Now, this is for today and for the fair. But what's next? What's the next step for you? Is it a new book? Is it a new project? Is it a new? Can you tell us more about it?
But right now, I'm working on a very big animation project. Okay. It will be like 50 episodes for small children about brave bunnies. So I think it will take me 2 years of work, and I'm kind of scared because I never worked on this big project.
Did you work on animation before?
No, I just started with this project, and I'm a little bit like, okay. And I'm actually a main illustrator there, and I'm also a little bit stressed about that. And I'm also working with posters now. I'm doing very serious posters for Armenia about selective abortion topic. It's kind of hard for Armenian people, and we are doing this social program, and I'm drawing posters. So maybe we will see them in a few months in Armenia. Yeah.
So my understanding is you have a wider range of skills here.
Yes.
So how does it help when you do that kind of serious project to nourish the other project? Does it help, or do you have like connections in between?
Sometimes it just helps you to promote yourself in different fields, but I don't know, sometimes I take too many projects and it doesn't help at all because I'm kind of stressed and tired. But I don't know, it's just, sometimes I develop different skills by working on different big projects.
And now I want to conclude this interview if one of our viewers want to know more about your work, let's say, what would be the favorite, your favorite piece of work, let's say your book or anything like that, that you would like for them to discover your world?
I actually would say this No Adults book that I showed before, because I still think that it's one of my best books. Also, I like this Girls' Powers. It's the book from 2018.
Okay.
I made a lot of portraits with Ukrainian girls, and it was also a very nice project. So maybe these two books.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for coming in our studio today. It was a pleasure to have you there. That was Anna Sarvira. She's an illustrator. And thank you for watching the program, and stay tuned for the rest.